use of $700 million. But sir, I have a net worth of zero.
Youth icon, industrialist, socialite and fitness enthusiast, the richest to rag story of Anil Ambani could well be a plot for a Bollywood film. Just like his father Dhirubhai Ambani, who also inspired a film, Guru. Dhirubhai was legendary for his audacious vision and his ability to successfully implement it.
If you don't build your dreams, someone else will hire you to help them build theirs.
While Dhirubhai started as a petrol pump attendant in Aden, Yemen, his sons Mukesh and Anil walked straight to the director's cabin. While Dhirubhai returned to India with just 500 rupees, set up Reliance and took it public in 1977, the boy started life sitting on its board. At the time of his death in 2002, Forbes ranked Dhirubhai Ambani as the world's 138th richest person with a net worth of $2.9 billion, leaving behind one of India's biggest companies worth 75,000 crore. Unthinkable to him that his two sons would fight over his legacy, Dhirubhai did not leave behind a will. Despite cracks forming between the two brothers even during his lifetime, who were then chairman and managing director of Reliance Industries respectively. After the father's death, these cracks came wide into the open over who would own which company. There was no question as to who would get their flagship petroleum company Reliance, because Mukesh was the one who had built their main Patalganga plant and understood the business intricately. Reliance Communications, India's second largest telecom company at the time, was also Mukesh's baby, having envisioned and built it from scratch. But Anil wanted it. Finally, it was their mother Kokila Ben in 2004-05,
I need Arcom, mom.
supported by external negotiators, chartered accountant S. Gurumurthy and banker K.V. Kamath, who stepped in to divide the conglomerate. Mukesh got all the old economy companies, Reliance Industries, Petroleum, IPCL, Infrastructure, while Anil got all the new economy companies and renamed his group ADAG, Arcom, Reliance Capital, Energy, Natural Resources and Broadcasting. Anil's legacy left him as the sixth richest man in the world with a net worth of more than $42 billion, just one step below his elder brother's $43 billion. And it was broadly expected that since Anil had control over sunrise sectors, he would do better than Mukesh in the long run. In his quest to further strengthen his hold in this sunrise sector, in 2005 Anil bought Adlab Films and their chain of theatres Big Cinemas, which by 2008 had become the largest multiplex chain with 700 screens across India and overseas. He also signed a $1.2 billion deal with American filmmaker Steven Spielberg's production company DreamWorks in the same year, making some Academy Award-winning movies you may have seen: 1917, War Horse, The Help, Lincoln, Bridge of the Spies, Girl on the Train. At his zenith in 2008, when Anil floated an IPO for Reliance Power, it was subscribed in 60 seconds, a record for Indian capital markets. Anil's flamboyant lifestyle was a fairy tale, like his proximity to Bollywood celebrities.
Anil is like my younger brother.
To politicians like Samajwadi Party's Amar Singh, who had enough clout to have him nominated as
I, Anil Dhirubhai Ambani, having been elected as a member of the Rajya Sabha,
like his bi-weekly helicopter flight from his South Mumbai home to Arcom's office in Navi Mumbai, named Dhirubhai Ambani Knowledge City, or his love for running and fitness, which he apparently took up after an American investor once quizzed him during an international fundraising spree.
Anil, while you take so much care to look after the fitness of your companies, do you do the same with your body?
Until then, the only other running Anil had done was when he had famously chased the lovely Bollywood diva Tina Muneem for almost 10 years before finally marrying her in 1991. So popular had he become that journalists would flock to him on just a moment's notice. With elder brother Mukesh boasting of the most expensive house in Asia worth $700 million, 4,500 crore, Anil planned his own luxurious house abode, also worth about the same amount, in Bandra's Pali Hill, which is still under construction. With so much money and attention around, it seemed Anil's star would shine forever. Things, however, did not go as planned. Relations between the once close brothers that were until then civil soured. Instead of renegotiating an old deal, in 2010, Anil took Mukesh to court over the supply price of gas from Reliance Krishna Godavari Basin, when Mukesh refused to supply him gas at the contracted price. Under the terms of the 2005 gas agreement brokered by their mother, Mukesh's RIL had contracted to supply gas to Anil's RNRL at $2.34 per MMBTU, even though its price had since risen sharply in international markets. But the Supreme Court, in accordance with the government's gas utilization policy, fixed the price at $4.20 per MMBTU in favor of Mukesh's RIL. His next hit was in telecom. When RCom was set up, they adopted the cheaper CDMA technology, while rivals such as Airtel and Hutch used the more expensive GSM. While CDMA was a superior technology at 2G and 3G levels, the world was moving towards 4G and beyond, which it could not support. Once the 10-year anti-competition clause with his brother lapsed in 2015, Mukesh launched Jio and changed the face of the telecom industry in India. Within 3 years of Jio's launch, RCom's 1.65 lakh crore market capitalization lost over 98% of its value and eventually went into insolvency proceedings in May 2018. Both these were big setbacks for Anil. Now his dominoes began to fall one by one. In an effort to reduce debt, in 2014, Anil sold big cinemas to Carnival for 710 crore. And 2 years later, parts of his TV and FM radio business to Zee for 1,872 crore. During his heydays, Anil, to showcase his engineering capability, took huge loans to build Mumbai's Sea Link and the city's Versova-Ghatkopar metro, both projects done below cost. Despite things falling all around him, Anil, without domain knowledge, tried his hand in the defense sector when in 2016 he bought Pipavav Marine and Offshore Engineering. So it was no surprise when the diversification failed and the market cap of Pipavav, renamed Reliance Naval, fell 90% in 2019 from $1 billion to $100 million. The furor over the Rafale deal in Parliament also added to his woes. Finally, the profit-making and cash-generating Reliance Energy was sold off to Adani in 2017-18 for $2.5 billion, 18,000 crore, to pay off debts. Loans that Anil defaulted on worth 12,800 crore also played a part in the downfall of Yes Bank. As of December 31, 2019, Anil Ambani's telecom, naval, infrastructure and power businesses have defaulted on loans over 43,800 crore, $6 billion. His pile of debts has also affected his other projects, be it the Delhi Metro or power projects in Madhya Pradesh. While Mukesh Ambani's wealth saw ups and downs but remained steady at 43.1 billion last year, Anil's fortune stumbled to 1.7 billion and is reported to be worth less than 1 billion now. These were Anil Ambani's deadly sins. Poor strategy. RCom lost out when 4G came. This was a known drawback in CDMA. Pride, chasing prestige projects with long returns rather than the bottom line, like the Sea Link. Overambition, looking outside of core competence areas like venturing into defense. Mismanagement, taking more loans than the ability to pay in worst case scenarios like RCom, Naval, etc. Mukesh, on the other hand, has not only kept a deep focus on his core business but entered two major sunrise sectors, retail and telecom, through a well-crafted strategy. Anil is not the only one to lose his fortune. Ranbaxy's Shivinder and Malvinder Singh lost their ancestral 2 billion empire. Shashikant and Ravikant Ruya had to let go their bankrupt SR Steel to ArcelorMittal. VG Siddhartha of Coffee Cafe Day ended his life citing debts and pressure from lenders. Naresh Goyal had to step down as chairman of Jet Airways, which eventually wound up operations under a debt of 8,500 crore. TV mogul Subhash Chandra lost his stake in Zee TV due to mounting debt. The once billionaire is currently battling a lawsuit by 3 Chinese banks which are trying to recover $680 million they lent to RCom in 2012, debt backed by Anil's personal guarantee. In a further spate of bad luck, Reliance Capital, the only business which was still doing well, also got hit due to global recession after the coronavirus epidemic. A London court has now asked him to deposit $100 million in 6 weeks, but Anil pleaded,
"I do not hold any meaningful assets which can be sold to pay them."
Now that the 6-week deadline is over and Anil is still out of jail, it appears that he had enough personal funds to make the payment. After the Jio Facebook deal, Big Brother Mukesh soars even higher, but with limited resources left, the question is, what next for Anil Ambani? BizBo's Limerick. This is the story of Anil Ambani, how his life was once full of glory, But his debt overloaded and capital eroded. What chapters are left in this riveting story? Subscribe to Bizbo and click on the bell icon to get notified whenever Bizbo releases a new video. Sources of all our information is listed in the video description section.